Hello everybody and welcome to my Dungeon Defenders Awakened Hero Spotlights. I don't actually know what I'll call them yet, probably just previews. Today I'll be covering the Warden. She is, at the moment, the strongest tower building or defense building hero. Her first defense is the most important one if you think about it, the Roots of Purity. Without them, you cannot place the other towers as it requires the Roots of Purity. The way you want to build the Roots of Purity is in corners. So let's say, for example, there's a lane, and you want to put the Roots of Purity inside a corner so that it doesn't get destroyed, and if it does get destroyed, your other towers will stop to attack completely. The second defense, Wisp Den. It is at the very moment the very strongest, the very best defense in the game. And with the with the current bug fix, they have managed so that it does attack the dummies. As you can see, a basic one, as soon as I place it down, has already 500,000 damage. That is due to my stats, what I will go at the very end, what I build on her, what I recommend to get early on. So the damage that it does right now is relevant. The important thing to know about Wisps is that each level, their range, their effective range, gets increased. The first one is 3 meters, it seems, and it's 3 again. Yeah, it's by 3 meters every time you up it. That could be, obviously, based on the amount of range you have. That is very important to know early game, and even in my keep build, you see that I always upgrade them to level 2, just so that they get the extra range, or level 3, sorry, 2 ups, so they get enough range to kill the copters and all the other defenses. Our third ability, the Beaming Blossom. It is currently as well one of the strongest defenses in the game. They, by default, do fire damage, while Wisps do physical damage until you fuse it, of course. And its fire rate at 0.20 attack rate is a lot. Just look at it. It already does at least double or triple the damage of Wisps. The only downside is that it needs line of sight, from what I know. And aside from that, it has a lot of range, and it does a lot of damage. So if you can put them in a straight area, they will completely annihilate mobs. The fourth defense, Shroomie Pit. A little weak, you know. The way they work, you spawn the Shroomie Pit, and when they see an enemy, they go suicidal, and they detonate. You could call it's similar to, well, they run to the target as well, so you could say it's like a homing explosive trap. And the fifth defense, the Sludge Launcher, it does a truck, and I mean a truck load of damage, as well as ensnaring mobs. Now, the explosion does 50% of the damage, so as you can see right now, it does 3 million every time it hits, but to surrounding enemies, it will still deal 1.5 million. Come on. As you can see, 3 million, and wait, that's... Oh, yeah, it's 3.6 and 3, wait, that's more than half. Well then, the more we know. Or, I don't know, maybe I'm just not good at math. No, I am good at math. That's way more than 50%. The attacks, of course, also stun mobs and snare them by 50%. I haven't used them personally, but they are really strong, and a lot of people use them. Now, to go over my gear, I currently obviously have an Arcanist helmet, just because, you know, everybody uses them. It's the end game gear, and for Warden, it's kind of useless. It just gives Roots of Purity 30% Rift armor. So the Arcanist helmet is not by any means, sorry, not by any means necessary for this hero. Having a guard, and that's a minor. Where the hell's my guard? So there we go. If you have a guard helmet, which I guess I sold all of them because they're bad, is enough as long as you fuse your wisps. That is what I would personally recommend. There are people that also fuse the beaming blossoms. For that, you will need the... Where the hell is it? My Dumbo? Yeah, you will need the militia set. The militia set will fuse the beaming blossoms, and they will deal fusion damage, of course, double damage as well. So, I recommend a guard set if you want to use wisps, or get the militia set if you want to use the beaming blossoms. Right now, people mainly use the wisps because they're easy to place, cheap, and powerful. The stats. So currently I just went full power. You might do the same. I have 10,000 power, 6,000 range, 6,000 defense rate. That is my current stats. I can reach higher if I farm more, but that means I need to farm more, which I really do not want to do right now. I want to make videos. On the individual gear, what you want is, you see the fuse defense 2, 4 out of 4. It says defense, armor, upgrade, and power. You want to have at least, like this, defense rate and power. You want to have the alignments, or, you know, the set bonuses, similar to this, defense rate and power, on most, if not all, defense building heroes. I personally still need to get the sets with good enough stats, but, you know, that is subject to change. I don't have them yet, you know. For weapons and offhand, like, I leveled them up. You don't need to. She is purely a builder, so the accessories are important. The pet, you don't even need to have a pet. And last and not least, let's go over her abilities. Her primary attack is a standard melee attack, nothing all that special about it. Her secondary attack is a sprout. You place a sprout that explodes, dealing damage to all nearby enemies if they walk over it, but it restores health and mana when you pick it up. It looks a little like this. It's a nice sprout. It's whatever. I never use the ability. But if you use the raft form, which I will introduce later, when you pick up the seed, you increase your own damage and movement speed. The mushroom circle. It ensnares enemies and continually restores health of heroes while its duration is on. So, if I stand in here, I'm getting healed. If mobs walk through it, they get slowed. By how much they get slowed, it doesn't really say, and I would need to test, but it is probably not as much as in DD2, so that is something we have to yet test. If you pop your raft form, it deals continuous damage to all the mobs ensnared and explodes when destroyed, and it stuns the nearby enemies. I think I should just go over the raft form. Is her second ability. While active, it increases your own damage and enables raft form for all defenses and abilities. Now, each defense, like the Root of Purity, it increases armor and continuously deals damage to nearby enemies. The Wisps, then, it deals it increases damage by 30% and attack rate by 10%. The Beaming Blossom, it pierces enemies, dealing damage in a line. I think it's an infinite pierce. I am not sure about that. Her Shroomie Pit deals additional damage over 3 seconds. And her Sludge Launcher will attack enemy and stun it. So basically it also stun. Before that, it just ensnares. And it looks like this. When you're in raft form, it takes 10 mana. And I think you can also reduce the amount of mana it takes while you are channeling the Wrath form. And you can heal as well, but I can't heal because I'm full health.